Hey Ma, do you know what bursts my bubble?
What bursts your bubble, Edward?
Dependence on you and getting independent myself. Most 32-year-old men aren't dependent on mommy for functioning.
Well, you've had some challenges in your life, but now is the time for you to fly.
Yeah, so I've suffered with severe illness. I mean, obviously, if you had like diabetes or like a serious illness like that, people are sympathetic. But when you have a severe mental illness, often people, they're like, wow, So mental illness, but I was really sick for quite a long time, and that's probably part of the reason I'm 32 years old and haven't flown from my mother's nest. But now that I'm healing, it's time.
And you're doing well. I saw a young man, teenage age, and he was in a wheelchair, and his mom was helping with the wheelchair. And, I thought to myself, how heartbreaking that is, because when you're that dependent on a wheelchair and there's no chance of and you could see that there was both a physical and probably a neurological deficit. And the fact that you can get better from illnesses, those are the things that we have to really strive to do, because there are some people that don't have any chance.
And I know people that have been in wheelchairs and were very dependent on their parents. They often view their parents as the bane of their existence. They're really frustrated with themselves and their lives.
Yeah.
And they're like, my parents are to blame. For example, I kind of do the same thing. I was very socially alienated, agoraphobic. I was isolating. And, obviously...
And now you're not.
I'm going to my support group 3 times a week lately, but, when I was home with my parents 24/7 for the past 3 years, obviously everybody gets irritable and gets on each other's nerves.
That's a fact.
And, maybe I want to blame you and say you were neglectful and you should have pushed me out of the nest and forced me to fly, but, it is what it is. I can't change the past. I wasted quite a lot of time, and...
Look, home is a comfort to everybody. Home is where the heart is. Home is where we feel safe. And when we have rough times, it's easier to stay in the comfort zone. It's just easier, but that's not living. So the fact that you're feeling good, you're out there living, those are all positives. Keep riding the positive wave.
And I look at you're right. Ride the positivity, and I guess don't compare myself to people from the past. I look at people from the past. They're getting married. They're starting families.
And that can happen in your 40s and 50s.
That can happen, but they probably have good jobs, making a lot of money, and
guess what? That can happen for you too. That can happen for you too. It's going to be slower.
And I know you don't think these videos, and maybe creating videos in my bedroom isn't the way to go, but I'm working on a screenplay.
Okay, now that's out in the real world, with corporations and associations that can be.
And I'm getting a lot of compliments on my screenplay at that support group I go to. We're acting it out. I'm getting people laughing a lot, and actually some of it is actually very powerful. People can relate to it, and it's not quite funny, but some of it is hilarious, and people are laughing. So I'm actually, I actually started kind of like group therapy, because my screenplay got them all saying, wow, this is like my life experience, and we all began sharing our life experiences.
And that's wonderful.
So if my screenplay can open people up and say, wow, I relate to that, and share their life experiences.
You could go around the country doing that, and go in places like your support area, and I'm sure they're all over the country, go to state, and make people laugh, make people talk about the different things that they've experienced, almost in a comedic kind of setting, yet it makes people comfortable enough to say, wow, I never thought about laughing about this, but yeah, it was. Instead of being so devastated by it, I laughed at it.
And some people might think it's a little too raw, a little too real, but I think that's what people relate to. If you're trying to, conceal things and, you're
be embarrassed by it.
I mean, what I want to show people is there's no shame. There's nothing to be embarrassed about.
No.
I'll reveal like everything and anything about me. Laugh at me and see like. I mean, obviously there are characters like Borat. It's like, oh, he's such an absurd joke. Not to say I'm a joke, but I want to show people, you know, like, there are people like you that have gone through hard times, and you're not alone, basically. And
You're not alone.
My goal is to help people with my art and screenplay. My goal is to inspire people who are going through similar struggles. Not to upset or disturb anybody. My goal is to help people.
Right. Right. And that is what it is.
That is what it is. I'm gonna go to the gym now.